another clip to the news. So the DOJ had that clip to begin, have the Epstein file. They're full of get pressured, attacked, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue it back and forth this week like that.
You know, he was moving around. Like he had the restaurant Justin's in Atlanta, so we was in and out of that. A lot of parties in Atlanta with him. And then when I told Puff, I was like, yo, Dre, you know, Dre is interested in signing me. He was like...
was not called a child. Everybody tore that woman apart because they saw a pregnant, grown woman sitting on that trial telling her story that everybody covered up as she was 19 years old. People are addressing Sean Combs' kids as kids, but they won't address Cassie as a kid when this happened to her. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was 15 years old when I had dealings with Sean.
I heard struggling to take. I heard like, yeah, daddy. Like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that.
Dad, now would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
The drama around Diddy's infamous parties just got even messier, and Allie Carter is spilling tea that could shake the entire industry. From shocking allegations of FOs to a supposed list of celebrities who left those parties infected, this story goes way deeper than anyone imagined. Allie isn't holding back, and the receipts she's dropping are sending shockwaves everywhere. Stay tuned until the very end, because you don't want to miss the names, the details, and the fallout behind this chaos.
I mean, to keep you humble somewhat, or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
Although he made it sound...
15 years old when I had dealings with Sean Combs. She was 19. You get me? Okay? We're not talking about the other children that were on this case. Now, as you guys are saying, I told you, the justice system is rigged. I don't know how many ways people need to say that, see it for themselves, research and dig on it. Right? Because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to do a seminar. I covered it up for how long? This case was back in 2000, early 2000, right? So let's talk about who's guilty. Yeah, he couldn't have did anything else, and then something else came out. Okay, well, maybe he did that too. But he couldn't have did anything else, and then something else comes out. How many people did you hear say, I left a party early? I knew about children being there. I knew about him the hell out of females. I knew about the parties going on with multiple people, so it wasn't just Sean Combs. I knew about all of that, but I left early. So guilty.
Allie Carter just stepped out of hiding, and she is not holding back. She says she was kidnapped by Diddy at 15 and watched things go down that she still can't shake. According to her, those parties were called Wild King Nights, and she claims individuals were brought into the scene and put on display so grown people could interact with them. She says some celebrities there touched her and took part in what she calls FOs. And after she started talking, the attacks against her got so bad she had to go to the federal authorities and enter witness protection. This is heavy stuff. If even half of it's true, it's chilling. Allie explained how different people get treated in these cases and how the justice system failed her. She pointed out that some victims were called individuals and protected in the public eye, while others who were young adults got ripped apart online. And she used that contrast to say the system was rigged. She claims she and her team chased evidence for years with court cases and private investigators, building files, receipts, and records to back up what she saw. Her message: survivors get victim blamed while powerful people walk free, and she wants people to actually look at the receipts.
With the Diddy trial approaching, we're going to learn more about the allegations against him. And one of his victims who doesn't get as much attention is Allie Carter. We've talked about Allie before on my channel because you guys were interested in what she had to say. She was speaking about these celebrities from Diddy to Denzel Washington. She was talking about these tunnels under LA and these homes that connect to one another. And I wanted to do another video about Allie Carter because we've come across more receipts of allegations she's made.
Allie also says the harassment turned harsh. She alleges that during Diddy's trial, when she might have been called to testify, her house was broken into while her family was out of town, and the intruders were armed. She says she was stalked, doxxed, and threatened after speaking out, with groups publishing her home address and even vehicle details. She describes losing her home and being repeatedly re-victimized while pundits argued about the case on TV. That part of the story is painful to hear. You can tell this has cost her everything, not just emotionally, but materially.
You get pressured, attacked, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue a back and forth this week like that mattered. Okay, you had Stu Peters and Timothy Charles Homestead going back and forth, and nobody has even bothered. Not that I give a damn, and not that I understand that you guys are gonna be that selfish, but nobody has bothered to apologize for all the hell that has happened. But you guys were arguing back and forth, and in that meantime, we lost our home. You don't believe me? Here you go. What once was a full house, we were still paying rent on our house. What we were doing this whole time was moving everything because our house is gone. Our house is gone. This is the price. What was our beautiful 3-bedroom acre home on 21225 Standing Rock Avenue, because everybody has the address, because organizations that were attached to Marx, Sawyer, and many other organizations decided to put out the address, my license plate to one of my cars, and many other of my. So here you go. You can have it, right? Because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to do it.
Multiple voices in the rumor mill have named other famous men who allegedly showed up to these parties. Allie and others point fingers at a list of entertainers who reportedly participated, and some passed on record claims from other people have resurfaced to back up some of that. There are also leaked audios and public allegations that add to this mess. The whole situation smells of protection and cover-up to Allie. She says law enforcement and institutions knew things for years and didn't act until public uproar forced movement. Whether you believe every detail or not, the pattern she describes, silence, threats, and then sudden damage control, is a red flag. It's the kind of story that splits the room. Some will say Allie's delivery is messy, that trauma shows up in lots of ways, and that doesn't make her any less credible. Others will demand receipts and full investigations before they'll accept anything. I think the main takeaway is this. If someone says they were harmed and claims danger followed them after speaking up, that deserves protection and real inquiry, not dismissal. Pay attention to the tactics she flagged: doxing, silence from institutions, and coordinated smear moves. Whether you're skeptical or sympathetic, this is one of those moments where we should at least be asking the right questions and wanting proper independent investigations. Allie made it clear that speaking out comes with a heavy price. She said every time she revealed the truth, the backlash only got worse, with people trying to silence her by any means necessary. She explained she wasn't in this for clout, numbers, or money. None of that mattered. What mattered most was protecting the people she loved, especially the individuals who couldn't protect themselves. Her words carried pain and frustration as she pointed out the cruel reality. When the very authorities you're supposed to be able to turn to can't be trusted, survivors are left feeling completely abandoned. It's a chilling reminder that in cases like these, victims often end up fighting battles alone while predators walk free. Honestly, listening to her speak, you can feel how raw it is. She's not dramatizing for views, she's begging for people to wake up and pay attention to the system that keeps failing those who need it the most.
Everybody that is ready to free Diddy and be on the side of they keep calling Sean Combs' children, his twin daughter and his other daughter, You with me still? Yes? Okay. They keep calling them kids. The twins and the daughters kids. They don't need to be in the case because they're kids. Cassie Ventura was not called a child. Everybody tore that woman apart because they saw a pregnant grown woman sitting on that trial telling her story that everybody covered up as she was 19 years old. People are addressing Sean Combs' kids as kids, but they won't address Cassie as a kid when this happened to her. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was 15 years old when I had dealings with Sean Combs. She was 19. You get me? Okay? We're not talking about the other children that were on this case. Now, as you guys are seeing, I told you, the justice system is rigged. I don't know how many ways people need to say that, see it for themselves, research or dig on it and not understand that the justice system is rigged. And we've been saying that since the beginning. We went through court cases. We went through private investigators. This is how we have the insurance and the documents and the things and the receipts that we have, because we have been through this so many times before, where the victim is the one who gets the most hell and the f***ers walk.
Despite repeated attempts to silence her, Allie has only pushed harder with her allegations, and what she claims is truly disturbing. She alleged that Diddy and his circle were involved in acts that went far beyond the wild FOs people joke about. According to her, individuals were kidnapped and forced into horrific maltreatment, with some allegedly being made to engage with animals while being filmed. That detail alone is so dark it makes your stomach turn. But Allie pointed out that federal investigators didn't focus on those claims. Instead, they highlighted the more public and sensational parts of Diddy's lifestyle, like the adult FOs and the high-profile guests. Yet even Diddy's own indictment mentioned a criminal enterprise that involved forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So, while the mainstream might brush off Allie's words as too wild, the paperwork and charges that already exist don't exactly clear his name either. And whether people believe her or not, the dots she's connecting are enough to raise eyebrows. Then comes the part that made everyone stop scrolling: the celebrity names. According to Allie and other insiders, stars like Meek Mill and Brashear Gray weren't just showing up to these parties for the vibes. They allegedly ended up infected after being forced into situations they didn't sign up for. Jaguar Wright was the first one bold enough to spill this tea publicly. And trust me, she did not hold back. She accused both Diddy and Will Smith of allegedly forcing Meek and Brashear into an FO, and even claimed Will disguised it as mentorship to lure Brashear in.
King son, man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship.
The story gets darker. Jaguar claimed it escalated so badly that Brashear and Meek were heard screaming as they ran out of Will's house after Will and Jada allegedly crossed lines with them. That's not just messy gossip. If true, it's predatory, and it completely flips the image of these powerful celebrities that fans thought they knew. And if you thought it ended there, think again. Apparently, that wasn't even the only time Meek was turned out. An audio recording later leaked of what sounded like a disturbing conversation between Meek and Diddy.
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the I don't drink, so I was playing that off like I don't drink. I smoke. Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but, like, everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the floor and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the fuck going on, but I just heard balls slapping against. I heard struggling. I heard being like, yeah, daddy. Like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling. Like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this. I was like, this Diddy rich, so I'm finna put the squeeze on.
We had a recording of Meek and Diddy
making love.
I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it. Let's hear it.
What?
Yo, wait a minute. Wait,
you didn't hear this?
No.
Now, Miran, what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely.
Fans who heard it were left stunned, saying the vibes were way off, and it only fueled speculation about what really went down behind closed doors. Instead of shutting down the rumors, the audio gave people more reason to believe something shady was happening. And honestly, every time something like that leaks, it adds another layer of smoke. And like they always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. But the tea kept pouring because the game's name also got dragged into this mess. Old rumors resurfaced about his connection to Diddy, and this time, the game himself added fuel to the fire. He openly admitted that when he and Diddy were supposed to be working on an album, none of that work actually happened. Instead, Diddy was flying him all over the world, throwing parties and showering him with expensive gifts. The streets couldn't help but notice, especially since most of those trips went down in Atlanta, which already has a reputation as the center of some of Diddy's most infamous events. The fact that they never recorded music but were constantly out partying raised eyebrows, and people started questioning what the real arrangement was between them.
I started kicking it with Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years, and Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, I the demo that. You know, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap? Like, nah.
Y'all was doing it for 2 years.
Yo, but the jet leaves at 5. We going to Miami, Playboy. We going to, you know what I'm saying? We going to New York. We in ATL this weekend, Playboy, pop out. And I was going everywhere with Diddy. And then one day, this Diddy, me and Diddy was smoking. He was like, you know what I've been thinking? You belong with Dr. Dre. No, you don't say. But yeah, so Diddy told me that. And before I went to go Diddy, I went to Suge, and Suge had at this time, if you remember, he had Eastwood, Crooked Eye, Corrupt, right, and Left Eye, and I felt like, you know, I was young, and I had my whole hood with me, my city was behind me, like Death Row. Right. Why wouldn't you want to be signed to Death Row? It's Pac, it's Snoop, it's Dre, it's Suge, and plus I didn't give a at that time about nothing. I wanted to do the music, but I was still heavy in the streets.
The Game himself even broke it down in detail. He said that for nearly 2 years he was running around with Diddy, hopping on private jets to Miami, New York, and Atlanta. But during all that time, they never once locked into the studio to record. Instead, he recalled Diddy giving him flashy gifts like watches and chains, constantly telling him to pop out for another trip or another party. He admitted that Puff wanted to sign him, but instead of focusing on music, it was just nonstop restaurants, nightclubs, and parties. He flat out said Diddy loved to party, and that's basically all they ever did.
Wasn't Puffy interested in working with you also?
Yeah, Puff. I was running around with Puff for a minute, but we was just partying, man. Puff liked to party, so that's basically all we did. I think the few times I was running around with D-Mac and Puff, we just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just, you know.
Okay, but I mean, Puffy was a huge deal back then.
Still a huge deal.
I mean, he's still a huge deal, but he's not doing music anymore.
Right.
He's running around with you, and, you know, Puffy's a busy guy.
I was running around with him.
Yeah.
Nah, Puff he wanted to sign me. He just, you know, he was moving around. Like, he had the restaurant Justin's in Atlanta, so we was in and out of that. A lot of parties in Atlanta with him. And then when I told Puff, I was like, yo, Dre, you know, Dre is interested in signing me. He was like, go ahead, Playboy, that's where you belong anyway. He was like, man, he was like, that makes sense. And contractually, I didn't have nothing with Diddy anyway. It was always, I could whenever we slow down.
And when you hear him admit that, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore. It wasn't about music. It was about keeping him close. And let's be real, when people see a pattern like that repeating with multiple celebrities, it's no wonder the whispers turn into full-blown headlines. Then YK Osiris's name got dragged into the mess, and the timing couldn't have been worse for him. Back in 2021, rumors started swirling that Diddy flew him out to Jamaica under the promise of boosting his career. On the surface, it looked like just another celebrity link-up. But then YK posted a very questionable picture, a shirtless photo of Diddy in the pool with prayer hand emojis, followed by a picture of himself on a massage table with the caption, "Listening to that Diddy eating that good fruit in the beautiful weather." People immediately started side-eyeing him. Fans pointed out that YK was broke at the time. He had been dropped from his label, sold his luxury car, and was basically struggling financially.
Nah, I ain't gonna say that. I heard about that though, but I ain't about to say that. But what? You and Diddy? Yeah. Yeah, you and Diddy. You and Diddy what? You and Diddy. No. They said he was. They said he was. How you knew that? How you know
now I'm about to Google because I ain't never heard this.
He said he was Diddy's boy toy. Yeah, I was in Jamaica with him.
Oh, I see it now.
See?
YK Osiris in Jamaica with his alleged boo Diddy. Can we talk about Diddy new boy toy YK Osiris? Why you did this to Diddy, man? It's messed up, man.
I'm just asking my rumor so he can clear it up. That's what the breakfast was.
I didn't even know that. That ain't nothing that needs to be cleared up.
Who believed that?
That ain't nothing to be cleared up.
That's why I say I don't know what happened about that.
You heard that?
Yeah, I heard it, but I think it'd be crazy little talking stuff.
When you heard it, what did you say to yourself? Because I know your people.
I ain't worried about it.
But your partners in Jacksonville like, bro, what's up? Because they already think the industry is a certain way.
Definitely Duval. Nah. Like you say, he ain't nobody.
I ain't never heard that in my life.
A lot of people don't care about it. They ain't that be really.
Did you laugh or were you?
I was laughing.
So how on earth could he afford a luxury trip like that unless someone else, most likely Diddy, was footing the bill? And when things couldn't look worse, his baby mama hopped on Instagram and spilled it all. She claimed the reason she left him was because she allegedly caught him in bed with another man. The revelation blew the rumors wide open and had everyone talking, connecting dots that maybe weren't never meant to be public. And of course, no conversation about this scandal is complete without mentioning Usher. For years, whispers have followed him with claims that Diddy infected him with H disease when Usher was only 14, staying at Diddy's house under the guise of a mentorship program.
I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? There were a lot of things I seen and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be.
People claim that Usher allegedly got uncomfortable after speaking to Diddy at the dinner table.
It's nothing like fellowshipping, you know? So we see each other around, but we don't get it. Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long. How much did we drink?
You don't even know what's going on. You trying to say something, Usher?
I'm trying to say something.
What do you want to say?
I don't know if I should, but I'm trying.
Well, you drank that beer, you drank 2 shots of tequila.
Yeah, right.
You drank 1 Caipirosha.
Let me say fire it up. Yeah. That's your group, right? Fire it up.
I like this.
Fire it up. Your forehead is sweating like Uncle Leroy at the dinner table. It's hot as hell. It ain't that hot.
What's your thoughts on this?
It already sounded messy, but then things escalated when an email allegedly tied to Kim Porter's unpublished book leaked online. That email claimed the book exposed Diddy's relationships with men, footage of encounters, details of venereal diseases, and even said that Diddy gave Usher an infection. It also referenced a disturbing alleged encounter involving Usher's own mother, making the claims even more explosive. Then in 2017, things got even more serious when a woman actually sued Usher, accusing him of exposing her to H disease without disclosing his diagnosis from 2009. This lawsuit reignited the old rumors and made people speculate that Usher's infection might have traced all the way back to Diddy. People were quick to say that Usher probably got infected back when he was young and vulnerable, allegedly being mentored by someone who had no business being around individuals.
You know the flavor camps are bad when he himself would never send any of his children to one of them.
And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was
What
like
a life!
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
It's important because we know that Usher, when he was very young, was handed over to Diddy. He was literally handed over to Diddy to live with him for a short period of time. Don't take my word for it. You can listen to Usher in his own words discussing that time period in his life with none other than Howard Stern. Take a listen.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See? The answer at the end. You're a dad now. Would you ever send him to Puffy Camp? No. Of course I would not do that. The things that you witnessed, you staying up until 4 a.m. at these Diddy parties. And they're
Meanwhile, Allie Carter tied it all back to her own experiences. Remember how she was placed in witness protection after her home was ransacked? Well, she revealed that she was originally supposed to testify against Diddy and other celebrities involved in these FOs, but at the last minute, her name was removed from the witness list. According to Allie, this whole trial was never truly about justice. It was more about putting on a show to embarrass Diddy publicly, and then sweeping everything else under the rug once the headlines had mellowed down. She claimed the feds had known about Diddy's dirt since the early 2000s, but deliberately ignored it until Cassie finally blew the whistle.
Speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to do a seminar, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to just be and then show up somewhere and talk and monetize everything that they're saying. When you realize that that's bullshit, then you will understand. Look at the tactics and pay attention. Pay attention. I'm still not asking you for a damn thing but to wake up. I'm not asking you for a damn thing but just to get outside. I don't give a damn about money, numbers on my platforms. You can have all of it. You took everything. The only thing that I give a about right now is the fact that there is a baby in the way. There's babies in the way. There are people that I love that I can't get out of the way. What am I supposed to do when the people in the authority that you're supposed to go to?
She even pointed directly at the FBI and DOJ, saying they covered things up for years. She explained that officials first denied having video evidence of Cassie Ventura, but later on the DOJ released a clip to the media, proving they had it all along.
The FBI covered it up for how long? This case was back in 2000, early 2000, right? So let's talk about who's guilty here. The DOJ released a video that at first everybody said they couldn't find a video of Cassie Ventura being. They couldn't find it. It didn't exist. You saw one clip, and then you saw DOJ released another clip to the news. So the DOJ had that clip to begin with. So the people who are telling you that they don't have the Epstein file, they're. What other way do you want me to explain that? They're lying to you. The ones that are telling you, Pam Bondi, that she only had a little bit, because they told you the same thing, and now you're seeing it with the Sean Combs case. They told you they just had a little bit of a video, and then it got released. That's on the DOJ. They lied to you. They told you that nothing happened, that this man, Sean Combs, was just this rap mogul that everybody loved. No, he couldn't have hurt nobody. He couldn't have did anything. And then all this stuff came out. Well, he did that. But yeah, he couldn't have did anything else. And then something else came out. Okay, well, maybe he did that.
Ali stressed that the DOJ kept painting Diddy as just a harmless rap mogul while the evidence kept piling up. And each time something new surfaced, they were caught backtracking. To her, it's not just Diddy who's guilty, it's everyone who knew what was happening, from the people who claimed they left the parties early, to those who stayed silent about all the maltreatment. In Ali's eyes, if you were there, saw what went down, and said nothing, you're complicit.
But he couldn't have did anything else, and then something else comes out. How many people did you hear say, I left the party early? I knew about children being there. I knew about him the hell out of females. I knew about the parties going on with multiple people, so it wasn't just Sean Combs. I knew about all of that, but I left early, so guilty. How many people did you hear say about Cassie Ventura that I knew that she was I knew that she was wrong, I knew what he was doing, but I'm just now speaking about it? Guilty. Coward. How many maids did it take to clean up a penthouse suite? Know that there was glass everywhere, but they kept their mouth shut because they got paid. Guilty. So we're not talking, let's go back down to the bottom.
Ali didn't just go after the celebrities. She also called out every single person who stayed silent while knowing what was going on. She dragged those who admitted years later that they saw Cassie Ventura being maltreated, but kept quiet until it was safe. To Ali, that silence equals guilt. And she didn't stop there. She pointed fingers at the hotel staff who cleaned up the aftermath of those nights. A hotel manager who supposedly took security footage, buried it, and pocketed hush money. Guilty.
Manager that you guys never seen his face at first of this hotel. He heard the screaming. He knew what was going on. He knew that Sean Combs was in there. He knew that he had other girls with him. He knew what was going on. He had the footage. He talked to the security. That hotel manager is who took that footage from the security and said, okay, hand me some money or help me be quiet and I'm going to shut the hell up. You did not hear anything from that hotel manager until now. But they told you, that hotel manager, if you would have went back then, they would have told you, no, we don't know.
For Ali, realizing Diddy was slipping past the serious charges felt like a punch to the gut. She had been fighting to heal, trying to move forward, and doing her best to live a normal life again. But this case dragged her right back into the nightmare, forcing her into the spotlight once more. She admitted how heartbreaking it was to see justice slip away after everything she had survived. In her own words, she said she was hurt, angry, and still in the process of healing. She explained that healing is even harder than hurting, and all she had ever wanted was peace. To no longer be anyone's puppet, toy, or punching bag. That raw honesty shows just how deep the scars still run.
Angry, and I am still healing, and it is harder than hurting. Trust me when I say that. I am trying. I have been in denial for a little bit. I walked away to get clean. I tried to go take my life back. I wanted some type of peace. I wanted to give a damn about somebody saying they love me just because they love me. I didn't want anybody because they wanted me or my body or what they could do to me. I'm nobody's puppet. I'm nobody's toy. I'm nobody's punching bag anymore. And that's all I ever wanted.
Now, Allie's main concern is simply staying alive. She insists that these powerful people want her gone, and the extreme lengths that they've gone to in order to silence her to prove it. From break-ins to threats, she says the danger never stops. Despite all this, some people have stood by her, reminding the public not to blame her for the way she shares her story. And now here's the big question left hanging in the air. What do you think about Allie calling out these celebrities connected to Diddy's FOs? Do you believe some of them really caught diseases from being part of that madness? Or is the truth still being buried under silence and cover-ups? Either way, one thing's for sure, Allie isn't backing down and this story is far from over. And there you have it, the explosive revelations Allie Carter dropped about Diddy's wild parties and the celebrities allegedly caught in the storm. Whether you believe every word or think there's still more to uncover, one thing's for sure. This isn't the last we're going to hear about these bombshell claims. What do you think really went on behind those closed doors? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more unfiltered tea.